Ranking Member. Chair, and I recognize the gentleman from Arizona, Mr. Crane.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This next question is for Mr. Zaid and Ed Green. Are either of you aware of any individuals who have AHI symptoms have passed away from their ailments?
I do.
I do.
Do we know how many that you're aware of? Do we need to discuss that somewhere else?
For the privacy of the families, it's a small community.
Right. Mr. Chairman, are we going to be able to move into a classified setting at some point or at another time?
I think that possibility will exist at a later time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's concerns that the FBI has totally dropped the ball on this investigation. Would the panelists agree with that assessment?
I would, and I would say that a great question for you to ask is to the FBI, how many people did you have assigned to this? And they're going to come back with a big number. And then you're going to ask, how many people were assigned to this full time? And then you're going to see the looks on their faces. Because by my accounts, I had roughly 2 officers from the field office, I had a GS-15 at headquarters, and an analyst. And the best one out of all of them was the analyst. And I'll say they all had additional duties. That wasn't their main job. They were doing things like looking at January 6th, looking at terrorism threats here in DC. So it's been very small. It hasn't been resourced properly. And anytime you work with the FBI, and this is fascinating because I did my whole career abroad, it's easier. They put things into a black box. And one of the main problems we had is they had on a criminal hat, crim as they say in the FBI, and not a CI hat.
Gotcha. Do you believe that Homeland Security investigation should get engaged in this investigation?
Absolutely, because they were cut out. You only had, I believe, my time there, 1 Homeland Security officer. She was an analyst for Secret Service. Homeland Security investigation should be involved.
Have any of you 3 panelists ever seen one of these weapons?
I have seen a 1991 version of the weapon, and it looks like a satellite dish with a unit this size attached to it. And of course, over the years, miniaturization has been possible. Obviously, there's a limitation to how miniaturized it can be because of the antenna size, which is always related to the wave. But still, it is something that can be well contained in the trunk of a car or even a large backpack.
Is this a type of weapon that could be cobbled together once foreign operatives are on our own soil, or is this something that would have to be manufactured in a nation state?
My experience shows that it can be cobbled together. It's something that can, a rough, crude version of this that would probably require longer exposure than the more advanced version that has been tested, as we see from this document, can be put together inexpensively. But again, I would abstain from commenting further, lest I encourage people to try it at home.
That would make this weapon and this tactic even more dangerous, wouldn't it, Mr. Grozev?
Correct.
Can you tell us, sir, about this contract you discovered for these weapons?
The contract was an award by the Institute for Prospective Military Studies, an annual award that means that this was the best development for a unit, research and development achievement for a unit whose goal is to encourage the production and manufacturing and discovery and invention in the area of new weapons, that both lethal and non-lethal. I know that this same commander won the award of this institute 2 years in a row. We're only privy to one of his devices, to one of his achievements. We don't know what the subsequent years' delivery from him was. But again, I mentioned this in order for you to understand that the perceived value, the perceived merit by the Kremlin of this particular award, of this particular achievement, was high enough for it to be the only award for the year, and for this person to achieve a political placement, a position that is not usual for a security operative. and this is the value of our finding. This was a very momentous moment for the Kremlin, this particular achievement.
Mr. Chairman, can I have 30 more seconds? I think it was you, Mr. Grozev, who said that in your investigation, you were able to conclude that one of these units who was operating on our soil was found near individuals that contracted these illnesses. How were you able to confirm this unit's proximity to individuals who experienced these injuries?
We've used over the years a amalgamation of data sources from the Russian market of data, which is a unique phenomenon. We've obtained border crossing data, we've obtained ticketing data, hotel reservation data, and telephone communication data for essentially 60 members of this unit that we've identified over the years.
Have any of them been apprehended, Mr. Grozev?
Several of them have been indicted. 6 of them are indicted in Bulgaria including the person that we just referred to, the engineer who discovered the acoustic weapon or delivered it. They're indicted, but they're well hidden in Russia and cannot be apprehended.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman